Hello. Ooh, like Bob Barker. How you guys doing? Still awake? Yeah, I've had a long day too. I'm just going to start off right away by clearing up 3 misconceptions that people have about young entrepreneurs. And I know this because people have said this to me, and I used to think this as well before I opened my business. When I started my business, I had no savings account. I wasn't one of those awful kids we all love to hate who put pennies in a jar and save their money all the time. I have no rich relatives, and I have no investors. So the OCLF was my loan, and I'm very grateful for that. How my business actually got started. I was lost for a really long time. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a career. I just was kind of being a barista, playing in bands, all that kind of stuff. I was also a cashier at a couple of health food stores. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen to me. I lived in a pretty communal house at the time, and we had some people over one night, and I made cake, and this guy sitting in the living room was eating the cake. And I've been vegan for 12 years. Vegan means no dairy and no eggs, just in case anybody's not clear on that. But so this one night I had friends in, and I made a cake, and this guy in the living room said, you know, you can make $1 million selling this cake. And I just I laughed at him, like, nobody wants my crappy little cakes. And he's like, no, people do want your cakes. So he secretly signed me up for a craft sale, which ended up being one of the very first Lady Fest craft sales, which are now one of the most successful craft sales across the city. And that day, the profit that I turned was the same as the paycheck I was going to be getting from my job. So, so that's when the light bulb kind of went on. I put myself into Algonquin College in a small business program, which I highly recommend to everybody still. I think it's just awesome. There's a lot of really fun, cool teachers. And I did that for 2 years, and that was great because I was in school and they let you write your business plan while you were in school, so I was like, great, I'm going to write a business plan for a vegan bakery. So every time we were in a group, I'd kind of grab the group, and I'm like, hey guys, here's what we're going to do. I need you to research this and you to research this. So I had all this awesome, fresh perspective from like these football guys doing research on vegan food, but I thought it was really cool because I fed them a lot of this stuff. I'm like, is it good? And like, same with my dad and my uncles who are like, really nice meat-eating country boys who would just die 1,000 deaths if they were found out they actually ate anything vegan. So, but I highly recommend the program at Algonquin. It was great. That ended in 2007, and when that did end, I became a cashier at the Urban Spice on Bank Street. And the manager and I got to talking, and he found out that I had this business plan under my belt, so he invited me to start selling some cupcakes at the shop, which was awesome because I was bringing in these cupcakes and I was getting the complaints firsthand because nobody knew I made the cupcakes. So I got like brutally honest feedback, but it was awesome. However, at the time, the cupcakes started really catching on and people really liked them. And the next thing I knew, another health food store called me, and then another. And I had been doing it on a very small scale out of my apartment, which you're not supposed to do. But some other health food stores wanted me, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to do something. I don't have any money, and I can't really go out and buy a bakery. But there was a bakery across the road that wasn't too busy, so I went over and I asked him if he wouldn't mind terribly if I paid him a flat rate to use his bakery overnight while he was closed. And he said he was actually kind of okay with that. So that's what we started doing, and as the business grew, I would like work less or get the treats around Ottawa, no matter what it took. But I noticed that it started taking up a lot more time, and I just couldn't do the hours of my job anymore. And that's when a friend and mentor of mine turned me on to the youth entrepreneurship program at the Y. Hey Zaina, stand up. Stand up. There we go. I love you, Zaina. So Zaina's part of the youth entrepreneurship program at the Y, and she was one of the people I went in and talked to and showed all my stuff to, and they agreed to take me in for a year. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's this super awesome program where you get paid to develop your business for a year. It's not a loan. You get the money to keep. They give you free business guidance and lessons, and it's awesome, and there's tons of support and networking and really cool stuff that goes on, and nobody knows about it, and more people should. So I really recommend that to everybody. So while I was in the youth entrepreneurship program, that was when I realized that you should always start your business, no matter how small you think you are, or if you think you have no money to do it. Just take a tiny step and start it anyway. Because the second you do that, you start building your brand, you start building your name. And here in Ottawa, it's such a small town kind of thing that that's what people really remember. Where am I? All right. So, flash forward a year later, I'm up to 4 vendors and a bunch of private clients. I've done a bunch of networking, and the youth entrepreneurship paychecks are about to go away, which is really scary. And the bakery I was using was unfortunately going under thanks to the Bank Street reconstruction. He had lost all of his business. So we weren't sure what was going to happen, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but all I knew that I was scared to death and that it was do or die time. So I went on Kijiji and I was looking around for spaces, not really feeling very optimistic, because I'd actually been looking for my own bakery for over 2 years, and I ended up finding a storefront on Bronson. So I went down and I looked at it. It had been an old vegetarian sandwich company, and it had all the equipment inside. And the landlord said that I could use it with all the equipment, but I better move fast because there were 6 other people that wanted it. So I immediately went home, called my grandma, and said, "Grandma, can I borrow this much? It's for first and last." And she said, "Did you get your loan?" And I said, "Uh-huh." As a side note, I've already repaid her. She knows that I lied, and I'm totally forgiven.